Here we go again. Oh my goodness. So I have to ask you, does anyone know where our constitutionalists are? Where our freedom of fighters are? Where our patriots are? You know, those people are like, I love the First Amendment. I love the Constitution. They walk around with a little constitutional booklet, you know, in their back pocket and stuff like that. Where are these people? Because I'm curious. Because what has happened is that Trump has come out and said, hey, he signed the executive order for flag burning.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech.
Now, this has always been like a hard-on for Trump. Even during his campaign, I even mentioned it, right? I was like, this is unconstitutional.
We ought to come up with legislation that if you burn the American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. 1 year. You know, they talk about freedom of speech, and I'm a big believer in freedom of speech, but that's desecration. That's a terrible thing they do.
This goes against the United States of America, and people were praising it. And it goes to show that he was serious about everything he was saying. Everything he was saying, he was very much serious. We saw with Project 2025, as ignorant he wanted to play, he hired the same people who created it. And now we're seeing Project 2025 play out. But nonetheless, he saw about, hey, if you burn the flag, you get a year in jail.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get
no trial, no nothing. Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists.
Now, I want people to understand that that was already ruled unconstitutional. They had a court case, it was ruled unconstitutional. That's what it was. End of story. But what Trump is trying to do is trying to say that, hey, because people burn flags, it's an incitement to riots. Now, we all know that you cannot do any type of incitement to riot because that is illegal. You can get arrested for it.
But there's another reason which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy.
So how Trump is trying to skirt the law is trying to say that when people burn a flag, people get violent, right? It's kind of like the Boondocks when people throw a chair.
I'm mad, man.
That's what he's trying to say. What happens with the American flag? You burn flag, people get violent, they get crazy.
If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots.
You know, riots start, and you can't have that to happen. So he's trying to sign this executive order to curtail that. The problem is that this is foolishness and this is unconstitutional. But he's already figured that out as well. Because what he's also looking to do is to pursue litigation to change that law, to send it to the Supreme Court, because he believes, hey, I got a conservative Supreme Court, you know, that these are my buddies, that they're going to vote in favor of turning that over and saying, hey, it's now illegal to burn the American flag. Even though it was already shown that it was constitutional under the First Amendment, right? Freedom of speech. So I just want people to understand, I'm just curious, is this the guy you voted for? Because I did a whole video when it came to the Second Amendment. All the goofies who were screaming about the Second Amendment, more Second Amendment, y'all remember how they were fear-mongering about Democrats are going to take your guns, they're going to take your guns. And then when Trump actually does a bump stock ban, when Trump actually says, hey, I'm going to take their guns and then give them due process, and he did it right alongside Pam Bondi, who, shocker, is now right alongside him again.
So what we want to do is let law enforcement come in and take the guns.
Good.
They're a danger to themselves.
Which you can't
or
do
others.
right now.
Well, because without being adjudicated. So because they're a danger to themselves.
You want them to take the guns and
when they are
not go
committed.
through 6 months of legal trials and everything.
Exactly.
In the possession
Or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system. Because a lot of times by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court to get the due process procedures. I like taking the guns early.
This is the person you voted in again? This just goes to show that their hatred, their racism it far outweighs any of their self-interest. We see, as far as when it comes to the tariffs, their businesses are suffering. They're suffering. And I will say this, it's a little difficult to be racist on an empty stomach, fam. I'm gonna let you know, it's gonna be a little difficult, all right? And then we see how Trump has partnered up with Palantir, okay, when it comes to surveillance. We see that his main man for the longest was Elon Musk, a person who wanted to put microchips in your brain. And this is the same person who shuts down cars. This is the same person who shuts down his Tesla vehicle on people that can lock them out of their own vehicle. This is the person you put into power. He's already shown that he doesn't care about the Constitution. He's shown that even recently, because what he said he's going to do is to rename the Department of Defense back to the Department of War. And a reporter asked, like, well, you need congressional approval to do that. He said, I kid you not, I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm sure they'll agree.
How do you plan to do that? It requires an act of Congress to rename the Defense Department to the Department of War.
We're just going to do it. I'm sure Congress will go along if we need that. I don't think we even need that, but if we need that, I'm sure Congress will go along.
What?
Is this truly the man y'all think is going to uphold the Constitution? Is this the man y'all think is going to uphold your Second Amendment rights, your First Amendment rights? Because we already see they're going away. He's doing everything his power to make himself come off as a fascist dictator, okay? And I find it interesting because if Biden had done what he did with Intel, talking about, hey, you won't give us 10% of the stock because we bailed you out. If Biden had done that, they would have been screaming Marxist, communist, dictator, fascist. They would have been doing that 100%, fam. And it seems, I'm not going to lie, it seems like this man has an agenda, whether or not it's his own, but it seems he definitely has a check mark that he's going off of everything. Because the best way to institute anything, all right, whether it's, one currency, one religion, whatever, okay, the best way to do that is by someone who can do it without any type of, a criticism. Because his base isn't going to criticize him. We see the media isn't going to criticize him because they're in fear of litigation. So what he has is a blank check to truly transform this country into however he sees it or to however the people who have paid him to see it. And this is hysterical because I very much remember when they were getting on Obama, he said he wanted to transform the country or something, and they lost their minds. Turns out the issue was not in him saying that, right? The transformation of the country. The issue was the fact that he was black. That's the issue. That's what it apparently seems. That this man, well, he's got the complexion for the protection, as Paul Mooney would say. And we see he is definitely using it. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, look, this is fear-mongering. Okay, this is just fear-mongering, and he loves the Constitution. Didn't you see him hug the American flag? I didn't see Biden do that. Or if you haven't believed, man, the downfall of this country is going to be, as Vivek Ramaswamy said, white mediocrity, bro. Some of y'all are too dumb to save. And the fact that you guys get to vote, oh, Jesus, we have got our work cut out for us, all right? Anyways, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me Thursday through Saturday. Disagreement Dave, there'll be a number on screen. You call and we duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think and subscribe. And oh, that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.
When you burn a flag, the area goes crazy.